I'm now here for my Moses Itauma versus Filip Hrgovic fight prediction and breakdown. The question is, really, is Hrgovic all that? Itauma should win. Itauma, in my opinion, has got a style which should destroy Filip Hrgovic, in my opinion, should knock him out. I mean, look, Hrgovic is the experience. Hrgovic has many advantages coming into this. Very confident as well. And he's been in there with some of the best guys. He's been in there with Dubois, been in there with Zhang. But reality is, look at his recent fights. He's coming off 2 wins against Dave Allen and David Adelaide in a world title fight now against Itauma. Is Hrgovic really all that? I mean, yeah, look, you can ask the same question about Itauma with who he's beaten, but the reality is we've seen his ability in his performances to destroy these guys. We look at Filip Hrgovic. He went 12 rounds with Dempsey McKean. It took him 12 rounds to get him out of there. I believe it was a stoppage in the 12th. I don't think they went the distance anyway, but Itauma finished him in one. Too elusive, too quick. I mean, with Hrgovic, I feel like what he's got, which could cause problems, he's durable and he's got high punch volume. That's what Hrgovic has got that could cause problems. But really, stature wise, everything, he's someone who Atama should be able to beat and knock out. People forget as well. Yeah, look, Zilli Zhang's a real big, fighting punch, but I feel like, people have this feeling around Hrgovic that, he can't get dropped and hasn't been dropped, but he has been dropped. He can get hurt. Look at what David Adelaide was able to do against Filip Hrgovic. Had him in real trouble. Imagine when, someone like Talm is in there with you, gets you in a situation like that, he's way quicker, got way better IQ instead of swinging for the heavens. And again, Hrgovic couldn't read him. He's going to find it very difficult to read Moses Itauma, in my opinion. And look, if it goes later, because Hrgovic has got that durability, yes, if it goes later, then things get interesting, of course. And Hrgovic has got ability to make this fight interesting, and Hrgovic has got ability to win it. But reality is, Hrgovic is tailor-made for Itauma. If we'd seen Itauma being there with, at least two more slightly better guys than what we've seen so far, then this fight wouldn't even be a debate, in my opinion. But since there's still many questions around Itauma, that's why it's interesting and that's why there is a debate around it. But really, you look at this fight stylistically, it's easy for Moses to win. That's it. It's a simple style for him. And again, look, it's interesting matchmaking. I feel like it is the right fight to make. And I feel like we are being cautious with what we are doing with Atama at this stage. And yeah, rightfully so, of course. It makes sense. But I feel like Frank Warren knows, the matchmakers know when they were making this fight that this is a tailor-made style that Talma should be able to claim his world title against, his first world title against, a tailor-made style for it against a very credible opponent, against a very credible guy for him. But reality is, this is a very tailor-made style for a Talma that Hrgovic has got. Very tailor-made. Thing is with Hrgovic, throws a lot of punches. Is that going to be the case in this fight? Is he going to throw a lot of punches against Talma? Because he's not exactly quick, Hrgovic, when he's throwing. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's slow. Many people saying he's really slow. I don't think he's really slow with the shots he throws. And I feel like Hrgovic does place his shots well. And I feel like Hrgovic picks his shots very nicely. But are you going to be able to pick those shots on the Talma? If you throw and you're just hitting it, you really going to want to be throwing many shots which are very unlikely to get to a Talma? I don't know. If Hrgovic throws too much, you're going to leave openings for a guy as quick as Moses Itauma. But again, as I was saying, Hrgovic, I feel like he's got good timing and places his shots well. He has got good timing. If he can tie some good single shots and gain the Talma's respect early on, that makes things interesting. But reality is, he's going to find it difficult to time a Talma more than you'll fight, more better than you're going to be able to time a much harder than how you can time a Dave Allen, much harder than you can time a David Adelaide, much harder than you can time a Zilli Zhang. This is going to be much harder. And it's going to be much harder to time than someone like Daniel Dubois as well. Talma, he's so ridiculously elusive. But one thing I feel like you have to say about Hrgovic is amateur and pro, he's seen all the possible styles there is to see. But I look at last time Hrgovic fought a southpaw in Zhang. really struggled. And I was looking back at that fight earlier. First 7 rounds, he was really finding it difficult. Kind of came into it back as we went on, and arguably next, it could have gone either way, in my opinion. But Atama is a very different southpaw and a much harder stylistic southpaw for Hrgovic to deal with than Zili Zhang. That's how I'm looking at it. But you do have to look at it in that, the fact is Hrgovic is the most experienced opponent Tama's going up against, amateur and pro. He is the best opponent Tama's coming up against. He's the most proven opponent that Tama's coming up against. And, Hrgovic has seen it all, as I've been saying. So that makes things interesting. He has seen all different kind of styles. Can he deal with Tama's? I don't know, probably not. But I mean, for a few rounds, possibly. But I've been thinking, yeah, can Hrgovic win? Of course. Will I be surprised if Hrgovic wins? No, I won't be shocked like many people will be. But if we're talking logically, if we're talking skill for skill, if we're talking stylistically, it's a fight that Moses Itauma should be winning. That's the point. Stylistically, it's a fight that Atama should be winning. He should be able to stop Filip Hrgovic. He should be able to get him out of there. I've seen people saying, "Oh, it could go the distance," but I don't know about that. I don't think this is one where Atama just sticks to the boxing and I feel like Hrgovic is there for the taking. I feel like he will be there for the taking against Atama as the fight goes. Atama's not going to blow him out of there. That's why I will be surprised with if Atama blows him out of there. That won't happen. But he will break Hrgovic down. He will get him out of there, and I reckon it could possibly be. I mean, I say one-sided. I don't know if it'll be really, really, really one-sided, but it'll be a fight that before Atama gets him out of there, it's a fight that Atama will very much be in control of. That is how I see it. I think Atama will be in control of this fight. Look, I've had feelings as well before the fight, thinking Hrgovic, it's one which, if it does go the distance, I don't know. I just had a feeling, stylistically and logically, I don't think it makes a ton of sense when you really break down the styles and the attributes of both guys. But I just had that feeling yesterday. I was thinking we could see a potential robbery in our hands here, an Atama robbery win. That's the scenario which I could see happening, and that might as well be another video to make before the fight happens. I see it being a scenario because I feel like Hrgovic could, again, he's got ability to be able to win. He could drag Gatama deep, but really, if I'm thinking about it stylistically, attributes why Atama should be able to get Filip Hrgovic out of there. Yes, he's not fully proven, but we should see a finish from Itauma. We should see a fight which he's very much in control in, and we should see a fight where he's getting a lot of reactions out of Hrgovic with his feints. But with the experience Hrgovic has got, though, will he bite on the feints that a Franklin was biasing on? He bit on every single feint that Itauma was using in that fight. I don't know. We'll get to wait and see. Reality is, Itauma should get him out of there. I'm saying 7 or 8.